Hello again. We'll get straight into it today. I think we will talk about chipboard. This isn't exactly a budget video, although chipboard isn't that expensive. There are different types of chipboard. You can get different sizes, different weights. This is 12 by 12 medium weight. Actually, I think I will put it under the budget video section because if you don't have chipboard, there are other things you can use. For instance, I got this in a package I had delivered. This is just as strong as the chipboard, well, maybe just a little bit less. So you can use packaging. This was actually from a tissue box that I got. You can use cereal boxes. You can cut 3 or 4 pieces and glue them together, and that makes a decent piece of chipboard. What chipboard does, it gives sturdiness to your projects. For instance, if you were making a folio or a folder or a notebook cover or whatever, you can make them really strong by using chipboard. Chipboard is quite difficult to cut, so you can use like a really good pair of scissors. You can measure it out, use a really good strong pair of scissors. But what I like to do is sort of measure it and use one of these, like a craft knife. But I have to be careful. I do have finger protectors because, yeah, let's not go into that. So you can also use a trimmer or a guillotine, but I would have a blade set aside just for cutting chipboard because they can dull quite quickly. So on my trimmer, I have one blade that I use for normal projects and one that I just use for cutting chipboard. But most of the time I do just use a craft knife or a pair of scissors, because scissors is actually faster, but with a craft knife you're going to get I think a more accurate cut. So what I like to do, I've got some cut here already underneath, and you can use tape, you can use glue, you can use your, the glue runners. So what I've done is I've just cut some chipboard. I'm not going to be making anything in particular at all. I have nothing in mind when I'm making this. This is just to show you one of the things you can do with chipboard. So what I would do is get a piece of pattern paper, and you would have, for just a basic project, a basic cover for a notebook, or perhaps you want a notebook with a pen inside, folders, whatever. What you would do is cut 2 pieces of chipboard for the front and the back, and cut a thin piece for the spine. The spine is not quite the same size, but never mind. This is just for this video. So what I normally do is I like to leave about 1 inch around each side, and in between the pieces of chipboard, maybe 1 to 2/8 of an inch, so you can fold it over when you're done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these pieces of chipboard. I am going to try and stick these pieces of chipboard straight onto the paper, but don't hold your breath. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, those are stuck down. You should be accurate with your chipboard projects. I mean, these are not cut quite straight. You do have to be quite accurate, because when you turn it over and you've got it all covered and folded, it will show if it's not accurate. But anyway, as I said, this is just to show you what to do, and it's not for any project in particular. It's just to get used to the idea of chipboard. Right, so now what we need to do, some papers have a tendency to crack. So what I like to do is just sort of start by bending it over just a little bit on all sides. I should have really scored it before I did that. Just to get it there. I do have a scory thing somewhere. I'll just use this. So just score it, just so the paper has less chance of cracking when you fold it. Just treat it gently. I mean, if you wanted, you could laminate this cover, like laminate one side of it, it will make it even stronger. So what I'm going to do now is put some more tape on these 4 sides, and then we're going to stick it down. Sorry, I'm just trying to do everything quickly so this doesn't turn into a marathon video. That's why it's not particularly straight, but never mind. So what we need to do is miter the corners. That means we need to take angle cuts on both sides, but we do need to leave a little bit there. We don't want it right to the edge or the chipboard will show through. Actually, I'm going to use my other scissors for this one. Whoops. So an angle, if you can see that, and then angle there. And we'll do that all. You see there's a tiny little bit there, maybe it's a little bit too much, but I suppose I'd rather have too much than too little. Okay. So we've got those mitered. So now what we need to do is take off the tape. Not with that. A little pokey tool if you've got something similar, or if you can just use your nails, because this is quite cheap tape, so it doesn't come up very well if I just try and get it off with my nails. I haven't worked with chipboard very much, so please forgive me if I don't do it quite right. So now what you could do, when we're going to do the long corners first, so in the start, oh, what I forgot to do was just score a bit there. So now we'll fold that over as best we can. Get that stuck down, which I haven't done very well. Get really stuck into those bits there. Okay, do the other side. It's a bit better. No wrinkles on this one. And again, score. Use whatever you want, a ruler or a bank card, or anything flat, just to get that stuck down there, stuck into the little gap. Now when we come to these bits, see if you can put that in, just put that over a little bit there, and then the same at that side, just push it in. So when we come to put that over, you get a nice neat-ish corner. Same with this side. Looks like I've cut it a bit too far on that one. Yeah, I've cut it a bit too far. You see that little bit there? So what I should have done with that little bit there is, before I put this flap over, I could have put a little piece of matching of the pattern paper in there in the corner, just so it didn't show. But never mind, you'll know now if that happens to you. You can just take off a piece of the pattern that you've cut and just put it on there, just a little piece, and then put this, then fold that over. So basically this is what it's going to look like, a little folder. But obviously we haven't finished because we need, it's cute paper that, isn't it? I'll see if I can put a link to it in the description. So then we need a piece to fit in the inside, so I like to cut it about 1/2 inch less than the whole of this. Right, I've measured a piece of paper to the best of my ability, because like I say, this is a made up project, so nothing's going to be really accurate, but that's going to go on there like that. I probably won't, I would suggest that you do use the tape, because it is going to be easier, but I'm just going to use glue because I don't do anything very straight, and at least with the glue I have a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to use glue on this. Right, now I'm going to have to be careful because this glue will stay wet for a while, but you still need to lift up these sides in between the spine, just to get it so it bends without rucking up. This is why you should really use the tape, because you can see the glue. Yeah, I'm going to leave that to dry. Okay, I think that's more or less dry. But yeah, I do suggest you use tape on the back of here instead of glue, because it is coming away a little bit. But never mind, I mean, that's just the basics of making a cover using chipboard, and you can see, very solid. You could make the spine thinner if you were just having it as a notebook cover. You could have the spine thinner, maybe it's half that size. Then you could glue a notebook into there, and you could put a little pocket in there, and there you have a little folio. It's as simple as that. So with something like this, you could have a couple of things in because it's got plenty of room there. But that is just the very basics of making a cover with chipboard. And of course I've done my usual perfect bang up project, but I still hope you find it useful. So what you can do as well, if you wanted to make this reusable, if you wanted to put a notebook in here and make it reusable, you could actually cut another piece. You could have the same paper as that, or the same as the inside cover. You could put a piece there and then you could slide the back of the notebook in, so the notebook can just be replaced, which is, I've done that before, and it is good because people do like things they can reuse, especially when it's something as solid as this. You can put a cover, you could put a little, what do you call it, little pocket there. You could put one there, you could have one on an angle. You can do all sorts. You can decorate it really nicely as well. To be honest, I think this is so pretty, I might use this for something. Before I go, I just thought I'd show you one of my first attempts. It's not the best, as you can see, it's not quite straight there. But this is just some things that you can do with it, because I didn't have a fastener on that one. I just wanted to show you what you can do. So this is one I made and then decided to give to my sister because it's not great, and because the paper I used wasn't great either. You can see there that it's starting to crack a little bit, But my sister won't mind. Of course, I put the ribbon on weird. But this one has a Velcro fastener. You can use magnets to fasten. You can use ribbon. And this one has a little notebook. You see what I mentioned before about the reusable pocket? So that has a little notebook. It has a little pocket there with a few things in for it. It's got a little notebook and a bookmark, and it's got a little pen in there. So it depends on the type of project that you want to do. I mean, I'll try and find a link to this one for the project for this, because it's really good and it's not that difficult. So this one has obviously an extra piece on there, chipboard, that you can put a fastener on. And I just use ribbon and just a little decoration, but it's just to show you what you can do anyway. But that's it. That is the very, very basic cover project using chipboard. So I hope it doesn't scare you off. I was terrified of using chipboard when I first saw a project with it. I just didn't think I'd be able to work with it at all. And although it is, you're going to get a much better result if everything's measured properly. For the project or for whatever you want to use it for, and of course without that part there, but that's easily fixed if you do it before you stick it down, as I've said before. But yeah, I hope you find it useful. I hope it helped you not to be afraid, and I hope it helped you as well to realise you don't have to buy chipboard if you don't want. You can use other things. So yeah, I really appreciate you as usual staying with me to the end of my video. It really helps my channel. And I would really appreciate it as usual if you could like, subscribe, share, anything like that is so helpful, and I do appreciate it. But in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye now.